Hey there, thanks for tuning into DuckBricks. I'm Chris, and I recently got the chance to go to San Diego Comic-Con as an exhibitor for LEGO Masters panel, but that was not the only LEGO panel held this year. In fact, there was a full-on LEGO Ninjago panel, which of course I recorded and wanted to share for all of you. Special thanks to LEGO and Fox for bringing me out as part of LEGO Masters, and of course, LEGO Ninjago is one of the most interesting LEGO themes to me. It's absolutely one of my favorites, and I literally grew up watching footage of the LEGO Ninjago panels from previous years, like 2015, 16, and 17, so I wanted to repay the favor and post the footage of the 2024 Ninjago panel for everyone to see right now. Well, it's been a pretty interesting day, to say the least, and I will dive into all the details on an upcoming Comic-Con vlog. But here's the thing. I actually had the chance to have dinner with the entire Ninjago team as part of our LEGO Masters experience, so I got a chance to talk to all the actors and the writers in depth and get a ton of more questions answered. And then, literally 10 minutes after I said goodbye to Kevin and Doc and walked away, something may or may not have happened, and yes, if you go online, the Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2 episodes actually not even leaked. It was an accidental release early on Peacock. The episodes, as they're gonna say in the panel you're about to watch, are not supposed to drop until mid-October. Obviously, that's a few months away. I genuinely don't know how this happened. But the episodes are out. So here's the thing. I really want to support people watching the show the way it's meant to be watched, and obviously the metrics and viewership is so important for Dragons Rising to succeed that I might actually hold off on doing a video about the show and about Season 2 Part 2 until the official release. Now, if LEGO decides to move it up because of this, great. Knowing LEGO, I find that hard to believe. They may just tell Peacock to scrub the episodes and then release it in October, but then a lot of the people who are really gonna see it on day one, frankly, will have already seen it. I'm gonna be honest, I've already seen a good chunk of it. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but I won't be doing a video on that. But I did want to preface this by saying that Doc especially was super awesome. I was sitting across from him at dinner, and I honestly want to say I peppered the man with Ninjago questions left and right. I gotta say, there's a lot of stuff that I learned that I just cannot tell you at this point, and it may be many years before I can say anything about most of our conversation, but I did get a couple of questions answered, so I'm actually gonna jump into those right now because I think most of the panel information is already online. The first question I asked was a question that a lot of folks have been asking me to ask, and that is the Elemental Mech shorts. If you're a diehard Ninjago fan, you know what I'm about to talk about. The Elemental Mech shorts, which are canon to the show, state that there was the annual Mech Master competition, placing them at exactly 1 year after the events of Season 1 of Dragons Rising. However, Ryu is still just a baby in that particular short, and of course, later on in Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 1, Ryu is already kind of grown up to be kind of a young adult or young teen Ryu. So I asked them, does this imply that there have been at least 2+ years since Season 1 to Season 2? And Doc actually, I don't know, like, I'm curious if I stumped him on this one. He had to pause for a second and he said, oh, that's an interesting one. No, I don't think we meant to imply that. And then he said, basically how this works is that dragons age differently than humans. They are their own species, and so they experience growth spurts, and Ryu just went through a growth spurt. So officially, this is the canon answer. Dragons Rising Season 2 does not take place more than 2+ years or many years after Season 1. It's at least a year over and maybe a few months. Basically, that's the answer. We'll never get an official Ninjago timeline because the ninja are basically ageless to some extent, but thank you to Doc for answering that question because I know a lot of people have honestly been really bothered about that, so I'm really glad we were able to get that answered. And the second question I asked, which I don't really have an answer that I'm allowed to share for, is I asked him that on Twitter he implied that Firstborn, the mother of all dragons in Season 9 Hunted, was born, implying that Source dragons are older than Firstborn. So I said, well, because of that, can you tell us a little bit more about their relation to the First Realm? Did they come before the First Realm? Can they make realms? How did all of that work? And he had a really interesting answer that I unfortunately can't dive into because it's pretty spoilery, but suffice to say, stay tuned in the very long run because answers are brewing. They are cooking up answers. They have an exact answer in mind to a lot of the other questions that I asked them. You just have to wait and see. If you're curious about some other questions I asked, I had some questions about the Departed Realm and how that works now. Obviously, you have to keep watching to find out, and keep watching because they do have answers in mind to a lot of those questions like that. But basically, unfortunately, over the course of our entire dinner conversation, maybe fortunately for me, but unfortunately for all of you, those were literally the only 2 questions, I mean arguably 3, that I can have any sort of answer to, and everything else went into deep spoiler territory, so I'm not going to go into more details, but let's just have Doc say hi and introduce himself to all of you right now. I'm here at dinner with Doc, one of the writers for Ninjago Dragons Rising.
Ninjago Dragons Rising!
Yes, I just want to say amazing job, man, and
Thank you.
Thank you for a great conversation. You got a lot of exciting things cooking, and I can't wait to see.
There's some of that you can't tell anybody.
Oh, I know,
Okay, all right.
I know. I'll be very careful. Thank you so much, man. All right. Once again, thank you, Doc Wyatt, one of the showrunners and writers of Ninjago, for answering all of my in-depth questions. I cannot wait to wake up tomorrow, see him, and talk to him about Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2. I am very curious what his thoughts are on it releasing several months early, and I feel very bad because another quick story before we jump in the panel, I just got back from seeing Deadpool and Wolverine, and in our movie theater was Devin Mack and Sabrina Petra, Aaron and Sora, and we went out because we had chatted over dinner, and I went up to Aaron and I was like, hey man, yeah, that was a great movie. Did you know that Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2 just released on Peacock? And I'm so sorry, his face went white and he was like, what? And I said, yeah, the whole thing just released. He didn't even realize because we literally were all just in the movie, so I think they're gonna have some fun stuff to figure out over at LEGO. Hopefully tomorrow, I really hope that they plug this and we get an official release, or at least bump up the release. I have no idea how that works contractually with Netflix, and honestly, it could not have come at a worse possible time, and I kind of wish it didn't happen because I really like it when Ninjago has a consistent release, and this didn't happen. But alas, it is what it is, and I'm excited to talk Season 2 Part 2 with Doc and Kevin tomorrow because I'll hopefully have seen it by then. I'm literally not sleeping tonight to watch it. But without further ado, let's get to what you're here for, and that is the San Diego Comic-Con 2024 LEGO Ninjago panel.
Yeah!
Are you Dragons Rising fans?
Yes!
We've got a great show for you today, but what we're going to start off with before I bring out our lovely panelists is we are going to show you the trailer exclusive. Play the trailer, please.
Yeah!
All right, making his Comic-Con debut for the first time on this stage, and the Dragons Rising stage, is Devin Mack. Come on out.
Yeah!
Also making her Comic-Con debut is wonderful voice actor Sabrina Petrie. We have another Comic-Con debut. It is Ryan Burns from LEGO Entertainment, executive producer. And now you love them. They've been here many times, and they are our beloved, the best head writers in the world. Let's give it up for Doc Wyatt and Kevin Burr.
Yeah!
Great. Awesome.
Hi, Comic-Con. Are you having a good time?
Yeah!
Awesome.
Well, the first question is for Devin.
Okay. Right.
Devin, you are not new to voiceover work.
I am not.
So besides Aaron, can you tell us what other characters you've voiced?
Okay, I've done quite a few things. Also on the Lego side of things, I've been Lego Thanos in Lego Marvel Avengers. I have also been a certain hedgehog who goes at a relatively quick pace in Sonic Prime. And I'm also known for a wacky little raccoon fellow named Rocky Raccoon in a web series called Tom. So I've been around a bit.
You know Sabrina as Sora, but maybe some of you don't know that she's also an editor. So Sabrina, tell us about your duo career as an editor and a voice actor, and how they complement each other and what you learn from each role that you play.
Yeah, I kind of started as an editor. I went to film school because I wanted to be, a filmmaker. And voice acting was just one of those things I kind of fell into as a result of it. I would do a ton of voices just as temp for all of the cuts that I would do, and then somebody, actually my husband, was like, you should actually try doing that for reals. So, it was terrifying, but I gave it a shot, and, here I am now. So it's an interesting crossover. It actually comes in handy quite a bit.
Awesome. Ryan Burns, you're fairly new to the Dragons Rising family, but can you tell us what you do as a LEGO executive? Do you just sit around and play with bricks all day, or what is it that you do?
I'd say half of my day is probably sitting around playing with bricks, but I'm basically in charge of, I'm the center spoke of the wheel of Ninjago, so all the writing that goes on, all the production, all of the editing, everything comes together through both Pam and I together to eventually what you see up on the screen.
Doc and Kevin, I've been really lucky to hang out in the writer's room with you guys when you're breaking story, and I can see how sometimes real life influence can work its way into the scripts. I heard a story about Devin and his love for pies, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind telling your version of those events.
Absolutely. Well, Dragons Rising is not the first opportunity we had to work with one of the most talented voice actors in the business. He's sort of a muse of ours, actually. Devin was a character called Dimlit for us, and several other characters in a show we created called Transformers BotBots, and he's hilarious in it. We got to work, he played a talking magical pig with an eye patch in a show we wrote scripts for. Yeah.
Super Dinosaur.
The first show we did with him was called Super Dinosaur. It was based on a comic book by The Walking Dead's Robert Kirkman, and Devin was the lead, was this character named Super Dinosaur, and the first day of voice records in Vancouver, he showed up with a pie that said SD on it, and he made a Super Dinosaur pie for the first, and it was delicious, and it really set the tone for the day. And so as we were thinking about Aaron, we were thinking, what traits can Aaron have? And we were, of course, thinking of our favorite voice actor, and hope the casting process hadn't begun at that point, but we were really hoping and crossing our fingers we could get him, and so we wrote in pies. And so Aaron loves pies because Aaron's his soul loves pies.
Let me add to this, because we came here today. It was recently my birthday, and we joked. We're like, did you bring a pie for my birthday? This guy brought a pie from Toronto. Here, he loves pies
with
so
Sora's
much.
face on it.
Sora's face on it. To San Diego, international pie. It has come from another country.
And it's not the first time I've done so.
It is amazing. So,
we met him for lunch, and he showed up at the restaurant with a pie he baked at a friend's house in Burbank.
Yeah.
And that had Aaron's face.
It had Aaron's face on it.
Aaron pie.
This is real. Aaron is real.
And if I could, really quick, I'll try to tell the story of how I actually ended up booking the role when I wasn't trying to.
Right.
Because, funnily enough, I had a whole lot of work that I was already doing at the time, and I was directing, so I was like, you know what? I had a good run with Ninjago. I had previously played the Skull Sorcerer in the Master of the Mountain and Crystallized season, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm eating good. You know, let's somebody else book this role. I'm gonna not try for it. And then my agent's like, no, they really want you to try for this, kid. You gotta try for this. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Jameson. That's not his name, but I'm like, okay, I'll do an audition that's, you know, kind of good, but not too good.
I'm gonna make him sound way younger, like 5 years younger than I think he's supposed to be. So it's good, but it's too young.
And I get a phone call saying, hey, you know, you booked the audition. They just like you to sound 5 years older. Okay, sure, whatever. and then I get a message from Doc saying, have you read the script? Did you read the script yet? Did you read the full script? I'm like, okay. Start reading the script and it says,
oh boy, I can't wait to enter the pie baking competition. Everybody loves my home-baked pies. I'm like, you monster.
You beautiful monster. Thank you so much. So, long story short, pie baking is the only reason I'm still in the industry today. You never know how it's going to turn out. Learned it in grade 9 home economics class, and it stayed with me the whole time. I definitely connect with Aaron's kind of ability to try to find the positivity and the bright side of any situation, but at the same time, he still struggles with his own insecurities at times, feeling like he wants to be this, he wants to be like all these people he's around, but not quite getting there, but also not giving up either. And I gotta say, working on this show has been a lot of surreal moments for me, because while I didn't grow up with Ninjago, I'm still finding myself surrounded by a lot of performers that I grew up hearing as a kid, like Brian Drummond, who plays Ryu, he's amazing. Paul Dobson, who plays Master Wu, and Kathleen Barr, who's played a lot of characters on the show. I grew up hearing all of them on Reboot, which was one of my favorite shows as a kid. So when I see them walk into record sessions, sometimes I'm just like, I can't, what am I doing here? But again, to still get to be accepted alongside of them, just to be just another silly person doing the voice talkies, it's an honor and something I'm very grateful for.
Sabrina, how would you say that you're most like your character Sora? And how does that affect you as a person?
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like Sora's got so many great qualities about her, and I feel like her fierce protection of her friends and her willingness to put herself out there no matter what is very admirable. And she, even with like Ryu and protecting, you know, animals who we bond with and have just as equal a strong friendship with, like it's one of those things that I just find. I feel I'm the same way. Like I very fiercely protect my friends and will stand up for them no matter what, and I definitely see that in Sora. So it's nice to see that reflected. In terms of how it's affected my life, you know, I do find there's other things written into Sora's character that have inspired me, and one of them is sort of finding that inner strength, you know, something that you didn't realize you had within you the whole time is there, and, you know, through friends and you know, that help you kind of bring these things out and realize things about yourself, that you can sort of become like a new you, or just like keep evolving and do things that you never thought were possible.
That's awesome. Ryan, we just saw the trailer. Do you want to talk a little bit about when the next half of the season drops?
Yeah, I actually am thrilled to announce that part 2 of season 2 of Dragons Rising is going to officially drop on early October 2024.
I've got another question for you, Ryan. You know, we've got this 15th anniversary coming up. Is there anything that you can tell the fans that they can look to expect in the future?
So 2026 is like a big milestone for Ninjago. It's our 15th year anniversary, and you know, we really want to spend the entire year celebrating the history, the awesome history of Ninjago, from, you know, the blacksmith shop all the way to now Dragons Rising. And you know, just as important as it is to look at the past and, you know, celebrate presently, we're also going to spend a lot of time exploring the future of Ninjago as well. So we'll, you know, still be telling stories that everyone is familiar with the characters that they're familiar with, but we're hopefully also going to be introducing you to something that you're unfamiliar with as well. But that's all thanks to the fans. Want to give a thank you to the fans for, this is the reason why we make the show.
Thank you.
Why we keep telling these stories and why we want to spend the next, in 2026 celebrating the entire year with you guys, and then can't wait to share more as, officially information comes out. But yeah, thank you.
Ninjago forever. We're gonna be here forever. Okay, I've got a couple writer questions. I'm gonna ask you first, Doc. I'd like to talk about why we're doing a tournament of sources. There's famously the tournament of elements, so why now the tournament of sources?
Yeah, the classic show, the original Ninjago series, did the tournament of elements, and we were not part of the series back then. The Hickman brothers were writing the series back then, friends of ours who we really admire. But we were just watching as fans. I was watching with my son when that season was new, and we've always just been really big fans of the tournament of the elements. We love the tournament dynamic, we love everything, and it had been so long since we've got ninja, we've got martial artists, and it had been so long since they've been in a tournament. We thought we would find a way to build on the tournament of the elements and take it to the next level, take it to sort of a bigger level. And that was what we decided to do with season 2, part 2.
Great, awesome. Kevin,
Yeah.
could you speak to us about the history of the City of Temples? Because that's an interesting piece of lore we've added.
It is all new to this season of Ninjago, and we're not giving too much away because you gotta watch the show in early October, which we just learned from Ryan. In that the tournament of sources, much like the tournament of elements, which was inspired by the tournament of sources, has been going on for centuries, for forever, in various realms. And what it is almost like an Olympic village. The City of Temples is where these events occur, and it appears every so often, every so many years, in a different realm. So it's only been in Ninjago, a long time ago. People were not familiar with it. Chen got the idea of the Tournament of Elements from hearing about this. So what had happened is this has been going on. The City of Temples is filled with people who worship and study the source dragons, and these events were put together in honor of the source dragons and the various sources of energy and elements in which they all use. And everyone within that realm would come together to compete. What's happening now, though, there's been the merge, right? All the realms are together. So for the first time ever, we've got the City of Temples now in the merge lands. So people, elemental masters from every single realm are going to come together to the City of Temples to have this tournament.
Sounds exciting.
That is the City of Temples.
Aren't y'all excited? Devin,
Yo.
what do you hope audiences take away from watching our show, Dragons Rising?
That's a very good question. If anything, I want to see people inspired to be their best selves. I really like Sora's journey a whole lot because we learn about how her ideologies are so different from her parents and everything that they tried to impose upon her. But you don't have to follow along with what people try to impose on you. You should always try to take a stand for what you believe is right. And I feel like that's an important value that everybody should try to keep with themselves.
I know we just talked about Sora, but Sabrina, same question for you. What do you
Here's my answer.
Hey, let that
I'm so sorry. I started thinking.
one. What do you hope fans take away from watching your character and watching our show? What do you hope that you get across to the fans?
I feel like what I hope they get across is what I have felt so strongly in the series, is that family isn't necessarily what you're born into. I think that's a huge lesson for me and for everybody to realize that you can build your family with the people that you meet along the way, even the other animals and other creatures that you meet. Like, it's just, everything is a bond, and it's those are the people who love you for who you are, and no matter what. So I hope that's something you guys can take away from it.
Ryan, I'm going to ask you a modified version of that question. What do you hope that you can give to audiences working at LEGO and also working on our show? Like, what kind of, what do you want to share with the world?
Well, I just want to support Kevin and Doc and sort of tell the best stories that we possibly can. Make sure that our audiences are, really engaging with the stories that we're telling. That's basically like the core of what we do, right? We tell engaging stories and relatable stories that, and also, have cool mechs and dragons at the end of the day. But yeah, that's it.
Cool. Doc and Kevin, it's the same question. I'm not sure if you have anything else that you can share. Is there anything that you're trying to get across when you write this wonderful show that you want the audience to take away?
I can very much say that this show, at its surface, it's about people with powers and skills taking on giant, world-ending villains. But the thing that keeps us going, the thing that keeps it fresh and compelling is just watching, like, say, our kids or kids in general or ourselves, like the characters in the show are very rich, and they have a lot of experiences. And this show was started being written during the pandemic, so we were all very isolated. And seeing how that was affecting people and how kids were dealing with this idea of family or this idea of what they were going to be or how to deal with emotions they weren't ready for. I mean, we deal with anxiety in this show. We deal with things that we're finding this generation of fans, at any age, myself included, just trying to work our way through these journeys these characters go on. What keeps this show fresh, 15 years is that aspect of it. You can fight a new villain every season. We can always come up with a giant monster to fight, but it's the journey that the characters go through that keeps it rich for everybody, keeps it fresh.
That's great. We've got a ton of faithful fans. A lot of them are in this audience today. So great. So, Doc, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Are there any fan theories that you've heard that people came up with that kind of surprised you?
Yes, my very favorite was before season 1 of Dragons Rising had come out. There had been, we always deal with the package, like the product packages come out in foreign countries and people get really pixelated pictures of the boxes of the toys and then try to infer story spoilers from that. And so before season 1 had come out, there was a set that had Rapton. Do you guys know Rapton, the guy with the visor and stuff? He's one of my favorite characters, and he's such a bizarre and absurd character, and I love him so much. But he's got this one visor, and some fans saw a very pixelated, like Eastern European version of a box that Rapton was on, and they just saw the slash across the eyes and had wild theories about who they thought it might be. Harumi, they thought it might be one of the Time Twins. Like, there were the crazy, and I was like, when they meet Rapton, they're gonna be so surprised because he is not one of the Time Twins. He is a really weird dude. So that was my favorite.
I love that. I love that so much. So Devin, we all know that Aaron has an elemental power, but if you had an elemental power in real life, do you know which one you would pick?
I feel like I would naturally have the elemental power of pie.
What do they mean by that?
But if I could come up with another one, I might say it's the elemental power of growth, if that could be an elemental power.
Take notes, Doc and Kevin.
I've had an interest in agriculture for a good long while as a kid. I liked gardening, but also just kind of helping people grow as people and just providing people with knowledge and helping them become their best selves. So just the whole concept of growth is just something that's very meaningful to me.
I love it. That's awesome. Sabrina, same with you. Like, if you could have any elemental power in the world, what is it that you would choose?
I feel like it would be the elemental power of time. I would want to manipulate time all over the place. Mess with people maybe, but no, but more so just to go back in time and see things that I would have never had the opportunity to see, or stop time, you know, experience a moment longer than I would normally get to.
Be able to take a nap whenever.
Be able to take a nap whenever. Yes. Yeah, time I feel like has a lot of possibilities.
That's amazing. Ryan, what about you?
I would probably just go with the cliche wind, you know, to be able to fly, never have to sit in traffic.
So he'd be
Very
flying to
LA
the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, flying to the office. Where's Ryan? Always stuck in traffic up in the air. That's awesome. All right, Kevin, what about you?
I don't know. It's a good question because we come up with new powers constantly. Like,
Yeah.
what have we not come up with? But I was thinking if I could just have the power to get people to just chill, like not freeze, but just like get everyone to just chill out and just be like, look, calm it down. Everyone relax.
The elemental power of sedatives.
Yeah. If I could just walk into a room and be like, just chill, and I'm like, all right, we're good. That would be the greatest of it.
I love that. What about you, Doc?
Mine would be elemental deadline, elemental master of deadlines, of script deadlines, so I could bend script deadlines to my will.
Yeah.
That'd be my elemental power. Quickly, before Twitter goes nuts, Aaron does not have an elemental power.
Yeah, for the record.
Just
Yeah.
So we're not counting pi?
Yes.
It is a true element of nature.
Thank you. All right. Well, we've got an exclusive clip, never before seen, that we're about to show you. And I don't know, do you want to set it up, Dr. Kevin? Or what do you
Yeah. Okay, so the situation is this. The ninja have just come back from, I won't spoil it, but from a very surprising experience. And they re-enter the monastery to find they have a visitor, and it's the last visitor they would ever have expected.
Awesome. Roll the clip, please. Aren't we so pumped? I'm so glad we could share that with you guys today. Doc.
Okay, so that clip is from the first episode of Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2, which Ryan just let us know is debuting in early October. But the other announcement we were able to make on this panel sort of dovetails with Ryan's announcement about celebrating the 15th, which is basically this. Dragons Rising has been greenlit for third season. So season 3 is coming in 2025.
So, Doc and Kevin and Ryan, is there anything that we can say that's not too spoilery about what audiences can expect from season 3?
Jeez.
Is there anything that's not spoilery?
There will probably be a pie.
That's fun.
We are gonna see inside a realm that we have not previously been inside.
Look at that. Cool.
Oh, in fact, more than one.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Oh
dun.
man, so much is going on in season. We don't even know where to start. That's the problem. So much is going on in season 3. So many stories have been going on for so long. They're all starting to kind of dovetail together. Season 3 has got a lot happening. So you have a lot in store for you in 2025. I can tell you that.
Wonderful. Now, maybe I just wanted to let you guys know that after this panel, we're going to be signing posters. This whole team's going to be signing posters at the LEGO booth. And joining us at the LEGO booth is a very special guest star from Legoland, and it'll be Sora with Sora. So make sure you come down and check that out.
It's a big walk-around costume of Sora
Yeah.
that they have in Lego.
Next to the real Sora.
We haven't
It's gonna be
manifested
mind blowing. Yes.
That'll be so cool. And now, I just think like you're all here because we want to talk to our panelists. So should we open it up for questions? Is everybody ready to ask this great group of folks some questions? Let's do it. Ooh, the mic is not hot.
1 second. Someone's running up there. We see.
Someone's gonna help you
Someone's very
momentarily.
make this happen.
Tech support is on the way.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It could be someone from administration.
Oh, it's still
Well, how
maybe you can. Maybe I can hear you.
yeah. Do you,
So she asked, what is their favorite past season villain? Is there anyone you wanted to direct that to exactly?
Pre-Dragons Rising?
Okay.
Okay.
Pre-Dragons Rising.
I mean, I think everyone's gonna say Garmadon, so I'm gonna say it first. It's Garmadon. Sorry, I just stole everybody's answer. Is who? Oh, the Time Twins. Very cool. That's exciting.
Sorry, Rapton was not one of the times.
Sorry.
You're so welcome.
I'm a Fugidove guy.
Future Dove is, yeah, Future Dove
We love
is one of the things we
Future
have to do. Future Dove is, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what to say. You know what? That's a stumper. That's a thinker. I just think you'll just have to tune in and see what happens next with our characters.
We're big fans of Geo. Thank you for asking the
Yes.
question.
All right.
Oh, it
Oh,
works.
it's working. Nice.
It's working now.
All right, great.
This has been an awesome season of Ninjago. There's a lot of diversity, a lot of new characters, new races, new elemental powers. With that being said, with the upcoming seasons, will we be seeing the return of some classic elemental powers, or maybe even the source of one of my favorite, one of the most powerful, one of the most controversial elemental powers, the power of brown?
Well,
Yeah.
I can go ahead. I think it's safe to go ahead and say that there will not be an Elemental Master Brown in the Tournament of Sources. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But there will be some classic elements back for the new tournament.
And can I approach the bench? I have a little mini build for my kid for you guys.
Oh,
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
Power of ground.
Oh, man. Oh, thank you. This is some toilet paper for the power of brown.
That
Dareth fans in the house.
Dareth fans.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
everything. And we know
This is the best.
Rob May loves Dareth, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's that LEGO executive who
Loves
strongly identifies with
And
Dareth.
without giving spoilers away, like you should keep watching the show because things will happen even if Brown's not in the Tournament of the Elements.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There will be brown.
It's gonna happen.
Color brown.
Yeah.
All right, this question is for Sabrina. At the end of the climax of season 1, it was really hard to see Sora's parents still believe the villain over their own daughter. I would like to know what your thoughts on that scene were and how did you prepare for it?
Yeah, that was a tough one. You just don't expect, in life that your parents won't believe you, won't side with you no matter what. So it was pretty emotional, actually. That is very much not the way I grew up and how my parents would have reacted. So it was strange to have to think outside of that and what that experience might have been for her. So it took a minute. It took a minute to really sort of get inside her head and feel out how I would react in that situation. So thanks for bringing that up. Actually, it was a pretty big deal.
What a great question. Thank you.
Yeah. Good question.
Will the fold ever come back?
Oh, The Fold. From the theme song of the classic show was by The Fold. We don't currently have plans to use The Fold.
There are no current plans.
No current plans, but we are big fans of it.
Fans.
We like to jump back.
Whip around his spin, and then do it again.
Multiple times.
Right?
Hi everyone. This question is coming from one of the biggest Ninjago fans that I know of. The question is, could you tell us one of the matchups in the Tournament of Sorcerers?
Oh, Ryan, what are we allowed to say?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
But it's one of the biggest Ninjago
I know. Is there any?
Big. Well, what did we show in the trailer? Let's go back to the trailer and see
Right.
what was already shown.
I mean, there are a lot of matchups. We can say that. I mean, there's definitely some. I mean, this is a big swath of Elemental Masters coming together. But what could be a singular match we can?
I'm not sure what we would get fired for saying. So I'm.
Have to try.
Have to try.
For trying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know you already said that we might not be seeing Brown, but is there any chance we could see any other fan favorite characters, like maybe Clutch Powers, or I know Raz is from the Wildness. Could we see any characters from Legends of Chima, maybe?
Well, we can't tell you what classic characters we are gonna bring back, either as Easter eggs or in other ways. But we can say there will be classic characters, and we absolutely are gonna. Some are just sort of blink and you miss it Easter eggs. Others are more significant, but you definitely will see some people you may already be fans of.
Right. It's very big for us to move the story forward, but we definitely pull from the rich sort of tapestry that is there. Sometimes in major ways, sometimes in minor ways, but it's all one big story.
Yeah, we definitely want to honor the legacy of everything that Tommy Andresen, that the Hagemans, that Braggy, everything that's come before Dragons Rising. We stand on its shoulders. We're fans of it. We want to honor it in the best way we possibly can.
So somebody already asked your favorite villains pre-Dragons Rising, but do you have any favorite seasons specifically?
Tournament of Elements for me is
that's a good.
I was a big fan. I mean, I would be, we wrote on some classic ones, so it would be modesty forfends naming some of the ones we wrote on. But Tournament of the Elements definitely is a big one for me.
Yeah, and I would agree. And in terms of ones we rewrote on, I mean, there's the writing process. There's the it going out there. Writing Prime Empire was a lot of fun. I just know in terms of just being in a whole different world, just had a lot of fun in that space personally. But yeah, I think that we love them all. They all have different strengths, and different things that we get inspired by. So it is tough to pick just one.
Was Ninjago Confidential Prime Empire?
It was, yeah. Well,
One of my favorite episodes for sure.
Yes. Good, thank you.
We got Detective Zane. Really enjoyed that.
Who's your favorite Ninjago character and why?
I'm just gonna there's one character that I love every time that he shows up, and it's Baby Ryu, because he's very much inspired by my dog. And every episode of Ninjago I've written, my dog has been sleeping under the ottoman. I can hear him snoring this whole time. So that if I personally have to pick one, it is Baby Ryu. He's just and seeing Ryu all over the world, seeing this little dragon figure and stuffed animal and everything that is in my head my dog is really an amazing thing to experience. And what anyone else's favorite?
I mean, I used to say Labo was my favorite character. Then I found out that my writing partner said that when he writes Labo, he just thinks of me, writes it, and so I felt really guilty about the fact that
it's true.
My favorite character was the one
was a robotic you.
But shout out to Aaron and Sora.
Oh, absolutely.
I would say Aaron because initially orange has always been my favorite color, and I feel like orange doesn't get enough representation on the color spectrum. And then costume, so cool. And then that was just my first sight read, and then as I got to know Aaron as a character, it definitely became one of my favorites.
And can I just add that real quick? That speaking of the scene with Sora, that someone brought up earlier, that's my favorite scene in the show so far. Yeah. That's sort of that My Name is Sora bit. That's just been like these characters, the characters that we get to. They're new. They don't have tons of legacy. We get to build new characters with that. And Aaron and Sora are absolutely up there.
I love you shouting out orange because you have no idea how hard it was to find these clothes.
Orange has no representation.
It's so true. For me, I think I might still say Fuji Dove. Anytime he's on screen, I am laughing, and he's great. Rapton is up there as well.
Yeah.
He is my favorite, most punchable character of all time.
He's the most fun to write. When he shows up, it is just like a good time's about to be had for us.
I love Wildfire. She has no like stops essentially. She's just pure herself, and I love it. Like she has unquestionably, unapologetically. So.
That's another one. You're right. And she was one that was sort of an uphill battle for us. Like we were like we want a Fire Ninja. We want this. And once we started pulling her characterization, now we get notes and we're like, love her. Every line is great. We're just laughing at all the lines. So yeah, it really worked out. We're big fans of her.
Is Jay ever gonna come back?
Jay Walker, huh?
Well, Jay Walker's been spotted in the Merged Lands. Is he going to come back to the show?
To the Ninja team?
Well,
That's
the
the real
Ninja team,
question.
I don't know.
That's
but
the real
we'll
question.
be back on the show.
Yes.
I have one very important question. Do y'all have any pop badges?
Do we have any what?
Pop badges?
Pop badges?
I do not.
I don't even have knowledge of pop badges.
Can you tell us what that is?
They're from the LEGO Land. They're little badges that you can just pop on your shirt.
Oh, right.
Now I know what
Now I want one.
I don't have any, but I'm going to go to Legoland. I'm going to raid Legoland for them.
Everyone go to Legoland.
No.
Sadly, no.
Thanks for telling us that.
Yeah, we're gonna go there immediately.
Yeah, we're going to look into this.
Pop badge.
Somebody has one.
Oh, right.
You just saved the panel. Thank you.
First of all, I want to say, big fan of the show and incredible work on Dragons Rising. Really blown away by the quality and the writing of the show. I have a question about the structure. Back in 2021, when Tommy A was helming the show, he had mentioned that Ninjago needs to reinvent itself and reboot itself every 3 to 4 years to stay fresh. And we saw that with the Oni trilogy and then transitioning to the 11-minute era. And I'm curious if that same paradigm still applies to how you approach Ninjago, or are you trying to go for a more longer form storytelling with Dragons Rising, even beyond that 3 to 4 time span?
Yeah, the 3 to 4, when Tommy said that, he wasn't math. Like, it wasn't 3 to 4 is the hard number. It was the idea that there's an arc of stories and then you refresh, right? And so that number isn't the magic number. We are doing something, our intention with Dragon Rising is something that's a little bit more long form, because just in the early days, the Hegemons never knew if there'd be another season, and so they would have to make sure they wrapped everything up. And when we were starting Dragons Rising, they announced that it would be a multi-year story, so we knew that we had a little more running room and the ability to kind of, because you would have things that Hegemons would introduce cool concepts or cool villains, and then they would have to sunset them by the end of the season because they just didn't know if you'd ever even see those characters again, right? And so we had a little bit more liberty to be a little more serialized, carry threads over from season to season in a way that the classic show wasn't always able to do. And so we feel like we've got a little more narrative space. That said, we do know in a vague way, we haven't broken specifics or anything, but we have an end to the story. We have a goal that we're driving for, and it is not an infinite open-ended story. It is a closed story. I can't tell you how long that is, but it is a closed story.
Which is our intention. So everything that's gone so far, like sometimes there's threads and storylines that may have seemed forgotten or may have seemed not addressed. They're all going to be addressed, right? Our plan is to pull it all together. When Doc says it's a closed story, I mean, Ninjago goes on forever, but the Dragons Rising experience, what this particular set of stories is within this is, we have a plan that will bring it all together so that from the very start to the very end of this particular storyline feels like one tight narrative.
Thank you for saying that. I didn't mean to say Ninjago is a closed story. Ninjago is eternal, but Dragons Rising is one story that we're telling.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Hello. First of all, I want to say it's a big honor to meet you guys. I've been a fan of Ninjago since like forever. I remember when it came out in 2011, so I just want to say thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for being a fan.
So my question was, I know there's a lot of like lore been established over the years, but I'm curious if there's anything from like the older seasons that you wanted to bring back but weren't able to, for like Echo's Aid, for example, or Liver.
I love Echo Zane, by the way. I love Juggernaut. I love all that stuff. What we feel we have to do with Dragons Rising is bring something fresh and new. And so we will only bring a character into Dragons Rising if we think we can contribute or do something with the character. So we don't want to bring back a character and just have it be everything that it's sort of been before. We want to bring back a character and kind of move the character forward and develop the character. So some characters we haven't done not because we don't love them and we don't think they're great, but because we don't yet have an inroad to narratively developing them.
And some of those characters were handled very well the first time. Some of them, we look at some of these storylines and think, wow, this wrapped up, or this finished nicely. And if we brought it back, it might actually take away from how much we love that. We want to make sure if we do bring something back, it's to improve upon it, right? It's to enrich our current story and enrich the previous story. And it happens. We have stories like that, but yeah, we look at the entire board of the history of Ninjago and say, like, what can further our current story, or what can we add that hadn't been finished in the previous story? Like the Cloud Kingdom showed up, and we wanted to make that. What does that mean in our current world? So we do both. We do move it forward in new ideas, as well as keep trying to look for old ideas that may help our new ideas.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Hello. I wanted to ask if we would have more expansion on the ancient elemental power green.
You're getting into spoiler territory.
Yeah, okay. You're asking the right question.
But you're asking, yeah.
That's all we'll say about that.
There is a big mystery there, and there is plenty of room to mine it.
Okay. I just remember that scene from the movie, and I've always wanted more.
Of course.
Hey, speaking of green, hey.
Yeah.
So you said that the elemental power of brown wouldn't show up, but will Dareth show up?
I don't know. I am holding a Lego roll of toilet paper right now. I don't want to spoil things, but I'll say this. I can't say that Dareth will not show up. How does that work? Is that good? He will not show up.
I will say that
So I haven't confirmed it. I've just not denied it.
That the weight of Dareth fan expectations hangs heavy on our shoulders.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to know if, will all of the villains be coming back or just some of them?
Not all.
In the tournament? No. Some. There'll be new ones, there'll be old ones, there'll be a mix.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bet.
In season 5, when Lloyd and Moro are fighting over the realm crystal and they fall into the, they go to the Chima realm.
Yeah.
Are we gonna see more appearances from Chima, characters from Chima?
As you may already know, Chima, being one of the realms, did integrate into the merged lands. Currently, we have some characters from the region of Chima who called the Wildness. We cannot comment on specific classic characters that may or may not wind up in Dragons Rising, but we are aware of the legacy of Chima and everything Tommy did with that show, and we want to honor that too.
Got it.
Will the separate team come back in the new season?
As in what way?
Like a little Easter egg or something?
Well, in the merged lands, the Serpentine are just citizens. Like we have them; they are a part of our world, and so there are going to be Serpentine characters because that's one of the many races that lives.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that put a point on that.
Yeah.
I guess.
So there.
Not the red light.
Yeah.
No, it would be basic.
Been a huge fan since 2011. I watched it. I remember me and my brother watching it in 2011, and still a huge fan now. I just wanted to know, what's your favorite character design? Like through any of them, even the more recent, like, you know, just how they're designed, does it complement the character more, and just kind of stuff like that.
Favorite character design of all time?
That's a good question. Like favorite ninja costumes and things like that?
Costume, maybe a villain, anything like that.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the design of Juggernaut, who I mentioned earlier. I'm a big fan of the Iron Doom design. I mean, that's not a character, but I'm a big fan of the Crossroads and everything that the Wildbrain team did to design that space. That's such a beautiful space. I just want to be in it. And Baby Ryu, what a design.
And I would say, and it's been hinted at in the first half of season 2, but the Forbidden Five, their designs, when you see that they're some of the best in this series. So,
thank you.
All right, so I've been a fan since 2012, and as of late, I've been a big nerd of ninjas.
all right.
And I've been noticed how a lot of the things that the ninja do are actually pretty accurate to real ninja. And I also been noticing stuff like the Oni and the Formlings. Just been wondering, how much research do you guys do when writing the seasons?
Pam went to the Museum of Martial Arts. Like, Pam is a martial arts expert.
True. And she fights us. She fights us in everything just to teach us.
Yeah, we absolutely have martial arts experts who get advice. I myself am not actually a master fighter. I know it may seem different from the whole vibe I give off.
Definitely.
But I'm not a trained martial artist. But we have advisors who, like Pam, who and certainly the team in Denmark do a lot of research and share with us research about the cycle of mastery and about traditions and things like that. So quite a bit of research is done.
Also, is the bounty cursed?
Maybe. It does wreck an awful lot, right?
I mean, is it maybe blessed because we get so many versions?
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great costume.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
So
What is going on here?
On behalf of all the furries who are big fans of LEGO.
Okay.
Can we anticipate an official return of LEGO Chima in Ninjago Dragon's Rising Season 3?
Not in a way you'll expect.
Ooh. Can you give us a hint?
Pardon me?
Can you give us a hint?
No.
Thank you. That's better than nothing.
Okay.
All right, before I ask my question, I just want to say, hey to Devin, I love Sonic Prime.
Woo! Hey, thanks so much.
Okay, now for my real question. Who is your guys' least favorite ninja out of the OG group?
Oh, man.
Wow. Of the OG,
like the original, 2011.
There is not.
That's a trick question. This is entrapment. I see what's happening here.
Who's your least favorite child?
Yeah. I'm not making a choice. I cannot do that. Doc can do it though. Doc probably has
No, I'm not going to do that. Are you kidding me? Next time I'm in Vancouver, one of 4 people will kill me. No.
Love all of them equally.
That's right.
exactly
That's
right.
correct. That's correct. It's a good question, but that's true.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I was just wondering if Kai will get his own season again, because I can't remember the last time that he had one. I think it was like season 7 or something. Will he just get the spotlight again?
We don't really do spotlight seasons in the same way with Dragon's Rising because it's really more of an entourage sort of show. It's more of like
ensemble.
Thank you. I definitely met ensemble.
Yeah, I was watching.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I was like entourage. But
it's like that show Entourage.
Right.
That spotlight concept, no, not in that same way. But we plan to give Kai plenty of love because we love Kai.
Yeah, Kai's great, and he gets a lot of story
Thank
space. Thank you.
Hi, I stood behind the wrong person because I have a question about Kai as well. He did get a little more focus in part 1 of season 2, which I noticed, which was awesome because like back in 2011, he was kind of like the main guy for those like pilot episodes. What made you guys choose Kai to be the one that gets trapped in like the realm between realms, like that nether area?
So the reason we made that decision was because Kai, when we were focusing on Kai's story in season 2, we knew that because of where we were in his character development, we wanted him to be the first one to achieve Rising Dragon technique. So spoiler for season 2, part 1. We felt like that dynamic, like the sequence where he works with Mia so that he can achieve his breakthrough, the connection that he starts to have to all the other ninja, that when we came to that sort of those concluding episodes, it became clear to us that like Kai would be the one to step up and to sacrifice in that moment for the team. So it just sometimes you're writing characters and you tell the characters what to do, and sometimes you're writing characters, the characters start to tell you what to do. And Kai told us that he was going to step up and take the hit.
Awesome, thank you. Love the show, guys.
Thank you.
Oh God. First of all, I wanted to say I love your works so much. I've been watching ever since it first released with the pilots back in 2011. Oh my God, that was a long time ago. But I wanted to ask about the structure of how the stories are presented now versus back pre-crystallized. And I wanted to see, like, because I feel like it was a somewhat controversial decision to change up the major status quo with having, like, the first part of this show focusing very much on, like, Lloyd, Aaron, and Sora, and focusing less on the original 4. I just wanted to see, like, what was like the creative decision behind that, or was it like a choice to spice things up, or because I mean I love how it's done. I'm just wondering, like now versus back then.
Well, how we got to that point, the show had been around 10-ish years, right? And you come to the point where you're just, how do you get a new audience in? I mean, comic books deal with this a lot, long-running franchises deal with this a lot. How do you get a new audience in and they tune to an episode and they're not like, what is going on? They missed 10 years of stuff. But how do you acknowledge this great history and move it forward? And the way we thought was important was 2 new characters, and to us, 2 new characters that represented the fans. Like, Aaron is the ultimate Ninjago fan. Sora is like someone who's just learning about it. And how do these 2 points of entry get new fans into it? And what we've seen is that it works. What we've seen is a lot of people watching the show are new fans, and they tune into it. It's like in comic books, when there's a new number 1 or there's a new, there's a point of entry, right? And so that very much mattered to us. How do we revise this without rebooting it? We didn't want to start a whole new show. We didn't want to start, we didn't want to negate everything. We didn't want this to be one of those types of shows. We wanted it to build on everything before, but allow a kid who's never heard of Ninjago, who might be 5 or 6, find a place to start and not see that there's 10 years of seasons to start with, and then go backwards. And like I said, it seems to be working because we have more fans than ever, and what they're doing is getting in on Dragons Rising and then going back and watching the originals, which is just enriching the whole thing. But we needed that jumping on point. It had been losing that jumping on point for a few years.
Yeah, I can see from like, I think it was, I just want to say once again how the stories feel unique and different each season. I'm talking about like the Wild Brain Wild Brain transition to like Master of the Mountain, Seabound, like 2 of my favorite seasons of all time. I just wanted to see like that's a unique stepping off point from the traditional focusing on Ninjago, or compare it and just having that be to modern Dragon's Rising. So I just wanted to say that's really unique and feels. I like it, and you guys made my childhood. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think this is it. Thank you.
Oh,
we only have
just me.
Yeah, we just have 1 minute. Can we have one more question?
Please, yes.
Awesome.
My question is, once Aaron learns like how to do like spinjitzu that is like where he like falls over and stuff, will he have like the spinjitzu he's had, or will he have like the full vortex?
Oh, he's got a long journey to get there, and I'll just say this: his process to get there is not the way you think it may be. It's going to be pretty complicated and somewhat risky. But yes, there's a lot of story with Aaron's spinjitzu, his wonky spinjitzu becoming real spinjitzu, so to speak.
I'll say
I have many secrets.
I'll say about Aaron what Lloyd says about Aaron. He has the potential to be the best.
Great question.
Great question.
Yeah, great question. Thank
Great
you.
question.
So that's the end of our panel, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody. It's a wonderful panel. You can see them at 3 o'clock at the LEGO booth. They'll be signing posters. Thanks to everyone at LEGO Entertainment, especially Blake Donovan, who helps us with everything. That's our production assistant. Thanks to everybody at Comic-Con, and have a great rest of your day.
All right, and with that, we have summed up the entire 2024 LEGO Ninjago Comic-Con panel. Thank you all so much for being here to watch it. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope it gave you some insights as to what's coming soon for Ninjago in the future. That's all for this video. Definitely stay tuned for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon, and bye for now.